Hey guys, it's Dan from ShastaBubba Adventures, and today I thought it'd be fun just to share some simple tips with you to make your bear hang go quick and easy. This is the third video in a series that's all about backpacking in grizzly bear country, and in the second video I made a case for continuing to do food hangs at all, and today I just wanted to share some quick tips and show you how I do that, with the hopes that you might pick up some ideas that would smooth your process out. So probably the most important thing is to use a rock bag for throwing the line over the branch in the first place. Now this is a sil nylon bag that I picked up, I don't even remember where from, and I've just tied the line to the cinch cord around the mouth of it. And this is something that I put together myself, but there are some really good kits that you can get that are already assembled, both from Light AF and from Z-Packs, and they have a DCF rock bag, which is probably okay, but I prefer the sil nylon just because it's a little more durable. A lot of times it's difficult to find a rock that doesn't have sharp edges. And you can see that this one is actually a little chewed up in places from the rocks that I've used over the years. Look around and find a rock about the size of a racquetball. You don't want it too big because then it's extra weight to throw in the air, and really all it's got to do is be heavy enough to lead the line. Now I also found over the years that one of the things that seemed to be taking the most time with my bear hangs was untangling the line, and I could spend quite a bit of time working out all the kinks and knots that had formed from the last time that I wound up the cord. So I wanted to share 3 ideas with you that would help to smooth out that process and help that take less time. So the first is that I bought special line. This is called Ultra Glide Bear line from Lawson Equipment. It's super strong and slides really well over the branch, and most important is that it doesn't get kinked up. A lot of the lines that you get do actually seem to twist on themselves and create their own kinks. So that's number one, is to get some good bear glide line. The second thing I did was to shorten the rope. Now these hanks usually come in 50-foot lengths, and at first I thought that was wonderful. I didn't want to shorten it up just in case I needed it someday. It's just amazing how much better it works just cutting that 10 feet off in terms of fewer tangles and less time spent on that. And so far I haven't run into a case where I missed the extra 10 feet. So that's the second tip. Cut 10 feet off the 50-foot hank. The third trick has to do with how you wrap the cord when you are storing it so that it's available the next time and not going to get tangled. So if you've ever paid attention on construction sites when folks are wrapping up extension cords, the rookies will wrap it around their elbow and their hand like that, but the old timers know to do a figure 8 around the elbow and to the hand and keep crossing over like that, because then that keeps the line from getting tangled because it's laying on itself in opposite directions each time you wrap it. So that's not very reasonable for a bear glide because it would just be too long for the bear line. So what I do is just use my hand to do the same thing by wrapping around my thumb and those 2 fingers and crossing over each time so that you're doing a figure 8 like that. Then you can just slide it off your thumb and your fingers, and it fits right in the rock bag. Just like that. When you're actually out in the woods and looking for a good tree to hang your food from, my favorite thing to look for is a leaning snag. tree that has fallen over but got caught by the trees around it and couldn't hit the ground. And that is easy to spot because our human eye is used to looking for differences. So all of the trees are creating straight lines, and it's easy to spot an angled line of a leaning snag. And then you can use the tip of that snag, and then you don't have to mess with or worry about branches getting tangled with your throw over the end of it. Also, it usually doesn't have bark on it, so it's not very rough on your bare line. And the second best thing is to find just a standing dead tree like the one behind me that has branches sticking out, and then you can hopefully find branches that aren't too crowded so you can throw over those and not worry about getting tangled with the other branches with your rock bag. Now, a lot of people just naturally want to do an overhand baseball throw over the branch, but personally I think it works a little better to do an underhand outside shot, kind of like doing a hook shot in basketball, and then that creates a nice arc that goes over the branch pretty easily, and it seems a little easier on the shoulder to do that. Speaking of shoulders though, one of my subscribers mentioned that doing the bear hang kind of was hurting his shoulder by throwing the rock bag over. So I also wanted to mention another way to do this is using it kind of like a sling and swinging it around like this and then letting it go. And that takes a little bit of practice to aim it well. Usually takes me 3 or 4 tries to get over the branch that I'm trying to shoot for, but you can really huck it a long ways by doing that, and also it's a lot easier on the shoulder. It takes a lot less effort to do it that way. Once you got your line over the branch, then you can just lift it normally if it's just an overnight and not very much weight in the bag. But if you have a week's worth of food, that food bag gets pretty heavy, and so I've learned a little trick to lift a heavy bag by looping it around back of my hand and hooking it over my thumb like that. That gives you a good grip, and you can just keep doing that with each grip, and it's a much easier way to lift a heavy bag. A very popular means of hanging your food bag is called the PCT method, and that seems pretty simple. So you just put a carabiner on your food bag like that, and then the other line goes through the carabiner, and so when you raise it up, you lift it all the way to the branch, and then you just grab a little stick and about eye level wrap it around that way and tie a half hitch, just like that, and then you just let that go until the stick catches on the food bag. Now you can maybe see why I'm not a big fan of the PCT method. If I had gone all the way to that branch and tied it off, that would have been a very good bear hang, but now, just because of simple geometry, that's not such a good bear hang. That's not very high. So you have to have a branch that's very high. It's got to be 20 feet or more in the air in order for that to equalize out and still be a decently high bear hang. Just some final safety tips here. First is that it's a good idea to hang your food far away from your camp, so at least 300 feet or so, and that way even if a critter does decide to go after it, at least the target is far away from where you're camping. Second is that although I personally have never been too concerned about lip balm or toothpaste, little things like that, I definitely do make a point of hanging my stove with the food, so make sure you're doing that so that anything that has cooking odors is going to be safely secured. And that leads to maybe the most important idea, which is to stop about an hour before you make camp and do your cooking and eating of dinner there, then hike another mile or so, so that by the time you do set up camp, you're far away from those cooking odors. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Next time I'll be taking on another controversial topic, and that is whether it's better to use bear spray or handgun in grizzly bear country. So if you want to learn about that, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification. All right, thanks for watching. Sorry it's kind of a dark and stormy day today, but I appreciate you being here. Take care. I'll see you next time. All right, I'm just playing around here to see if that's in. There.